I'm a skeptic. Sir, you about this fact that we should enhance our competence. So, how do you start this process?
IIT is the beginning. So, what are you skeptical about? You don't believe competence will work in this world, is it? Corruption is also a certain kind of competence anyway.
It's supposed to be a joke.
Huh?
That was supposed to be a joke.
Okay.
It's supposed to be a joke.
So, now how do I enhance my competence? See, let's say you want to run on the field, let's say you want to run a race. You want to run 100 meters. It is not running that you have to work on right now. You have to work on your legs and lungs and muscle and everything, isn't it so? So, if you want to become a great engineer, yes, definitely an institute like this is crucial on one level. But any number of people might have come here and gone, not all of them became great engineers. Though they might have produced hundreds of great engineers, still not all of them will become, simply because of their own individual attitudes and competence and whatever else, isn't it? So, whatever the institute can do for you, it is doing. One foremost thing that you need to do is to enhance your own physical and mental capabilities. Because if you want to be a good engineer, you need a working brain. Just having a degree of engineering may be a passport to a job, but it is not a passport to success, isn't it? So to have a working brain, which the engineering degree will not free. Usually lots of degrees, when people acquire degrees, they freeze their brains. They think they can… now they have finished using it and now they can rest it for the rest of their lives. It is not so. This is only to enhance your capability. This is just an organized effort. A school, a college, an institute is just an organized effort towards that, because each individual cannot craft it for himself. That is why an institution. Otherwise, an institution has no other purpose. It is here to just organize that possibility of you striving to be of a certain competence. But that is a mass application. But as an individual, your most important thing is you as a human being, you are functioning at the fullest level. If that has to happen, there are other dimensions which one needs to explore. Unfortunately, though these sciences and technologies for inner well-being have been the mainstay of this culture for thousands of years, today we are largely losing it for various reasons, because we want to imitate somebody else. We don't want to imitate our grandfather Topiwala anymore. We want to imitate the hat seller from another country. Because of that, we are losing those things, but we should not. We have to bring it back into our lives. This is very much a part of the way the culture itself is structured, that it is all about the human being. This is the only culture which talks about, which even an illiterate person in this culture is aware of, that you can actually evolve to another dimension of existence. Even if I go into a village and talk to an illiterate peasant who has not read anything, who doesn't know anything, who's not heard any of this stuff, even to him if I go, he will not ask me, give me a golden horse or something, he'll say, "Enakku mukti venum Swami." He is saying he wants ultimate liberation. Where did this fellow get this? Nowhere else on the planet this is possible. Nowhere else on this planet is it possible that an illiterate person is thinking that he can break his present dimension of existence and go to another place, whatever that place is. So, this was bred into our culture so deep, we should not lose it. It was not just the idea, there are technologies to become free. If you became free from the process of your body and the process of your mind, if you can sit outside of it and work, you would work it brilliantly, do you understand? You would be able to use this body and use this mind only when you are able to not treat it as myself. These are powerful instruments in your life. These instruments can be employed the way you want it, only when you have an outside access to it. Right now, you are a phenomenal computer, but you don't know where the keyboard is. When you can't think, you scratch this spot, that's not where it is. Do you see people? When they cannot think, they're thinking hard, they scratch here. It doesn't work like that. There are proper steps that one can take. It could be offered here if everybody is willing for that.
It's the only culture which is still conscious that God is our making. Dissolving Him is the symbol that if you use your intellect right, you can dissolve the world. To reverse these roles is most important, because if you determine the nature of your mind, something wonderful could happen. There is a festival in the months of August and September in India. It's called Ganesh Chaturthi. It is a god with an elephant face. It was not supposed to be an elephant, it was supposed to be a Ghana. Somewhere one artist made a mistake and it became an elephant. It's called Ganapati, that means the chief of Ghanas. So, they will make an image of Ganesh with clay, unburnt, and then they will paint him up nicely. Some people do without paint, some people will do with paint. And then they will worship him and huge festival, music festivals happening around him, big events. Some people build huge ones, 108 feet tall, big ones. But after that period is over, usually 1 week, 15 days, in different places, different times, then they will go and drown it in the lake or in the ocean, so that God dissolves. Create a God, create a frenzy around him, make him your entire life. For those 15 days or 1 month, there's nothing else but Ganesh. We eat what he eats, we only like what he likes, everything is about him, but then one day we'll dissolve him. Once he's dissolved, he's done. It's the only culture which is still conscious that God is our making. So, he is the symbol of intellectual activity, because he wrote great scriptures, and the sage who dictated the scriptures to him, the challenge for him from Ganesh was, he should not pause in the dictation. He must continuously speak and he will continuously write. He said, if you pause, I won't write further. It's a test for the sage, whether what he's speaking is really a fountainhead of his being, or is it something scholarly that he makes up in his head. So Ganesh said, only uninterrupted dictation, if you do, I will write. If you pause somewhere, once I keep my pen down, I will not write again. So sage Vyasa spoke uninterrupted. It went on for months on end. Ganesh wrote without missing a single word, the best stenographer you can have. He is the symbol of human intellect. This is very symbolically right, because this is the nature of your intellect. You can use it to consciously imagine something. Wonderful imagination, a man with an elephant head. An elephant head because that's the biggest head you can find on the planet. That means lots of brain. So, the symbol of human intellect Dissolving him is the symbol that if you use your intellect right, you can dissolve the world. Dissolving the activity of your intellect is no problem. Once you dissolve the world with your imagination, switching off the imagination is not a big problem. You can obliterate the universe with your imagination. In your experience, universe will not exist if you create a powerful imagination. But then, switching off the imagination is a much simpler process. If the imagination is consciously developed, turning it off is easy. Right now, bits and pieces of imagination happening unconsciously, it looks like it's impossible to stop it. The entire festival is symbolic of this, that we create him and you must see the festivity that happens around him. Usually, he's kept in public places. In every home, it'll be kept, private ones. Apart from that, on the streets, big ones, many streets will be blocked for this 15 days to 30 days, traffic stopped, everything. He will be sitting right in the middle of the street, big celebrations, music, stuff happens around it, people live around him for this period. But when the time comes, they just go dissolve him and that's about it. He's done. Next 1 year, nobody thinks about it. If you could do this full-fledged with your imagination and your intellect, oh, this mind or this activity that we call as mind, I want you to get this clearly. Your mind is not an absolute thing. It is only a certain type of activity. No activity, no mind. Yes or no? Suppose you have no thought at all right now. Do you have a mind? Oh, I have a mind, I don't have a mind. Yes, you have, because that's a thought. If there is no thought, there is no such thing as mind because it's a certain activity. Consciousness is capable of being here without the assistance of activity. Activity does not make consciousness, consciousness makes activity. I move the hand does not move me, it's me who moves the hand. Similarly, it's me who moves the mind. It's not the other way round, but it's become the other way round. The nature of your mind has become you, isn't it? All the tricky stuff that your mind does has become your quality, isn't it? Now, to reverse these roles is most important because if you determine the nature of your mind, something wonderful could happen. If your mind determines the nature of who you are, it is an accident. Is it a terrible accident or not? That situations decide, but it's an accident. I believe in God, one level of ignorance. I believe there is no God, another level of ignorance. Mahashivratri is not a religious festival. It has something to do with the astronomical phase of this planet. And we have figured out what phases of the planet are most advantageous to us.
Millennials, they do not believe in…
Which millennial? Which millennia do you belong to? I am not a millennial. Everybody is going on taking newer and newer identities, that's what I'm saying.
So people my age, So, they do not believe in God and religion. So, how is Mahashivratri relevant to people our age? Millennials. I don't know any other words. So.
Well, I do not believe anything, not just God. I don't believe anything, including millennial. I don't believe anything. Whatever I see, I try to perceive. What I perceive, I know. What I don't perceive, I do not know. But belief, disbelief, and all these different identities are crippling your ability to perceive. Because every identity is of memory, isn't it? So, the moment you identify with anything that is rooted in your memory, and all identities are rooted in your memory, you kind of crippled your perception. Now you cannot perceive. You will only juggle with permutations and combinations of the possibilities within your memory. This is how human perception is lost, because you made memory more significant than attention and intelligence in human life. So memory is not a bad thing, it is useful. But if you're always dipping your hands in memory, you're crippled. We have set up a system where memory is misunderstood as intelligence. From this comes your religion, from this comes your scriptures, from this comes your many social norms, from this comes a whole lot of things that you're either, confused about or suffering. So your gender, your nationality, your race, your religion, everything is memory, isn't it? So they are selectively dropping one memory and sticking on to another one, that'll not make them any better. They will move from one variety of ignorance to another variety of ignorance. I believe in God, one level of ignorance. I believe there is no God, another level of ignorance. Let me not say another level, then you will think you're on a higher level of ignorance. No, same thing. I believe there is God. This is ignorance. I believe there is no God. This is also equally ignorant. Because you have crippled your perception, you have to make some conclusion and remember that. That's all. So, don't go on like this. Mahashivratri is not a religious festival. It has something to do with the astronomical face of this planet. This planet is a part of a larger family that we call as the solar system. That is a part of a larger family that we call galaxies, cosmos, whatever, names and names, but essentially, there is nothing happening here in an unrelated way. So we understand that at certain times, in certain positions, the planet behaves in a certain way. And we have figured out what phases of the planet are most advantageous to us. In that context, Mahashivratri, because there are 12 to 13 Shivratris in a year, every month, the 14th day is called Shivaratri. Where there's a natural upsurge, we have identified a specific Shivaratri which comes in the month of February and March. Just when the beginning of spring in the northern hemisphere, there's a significant impact on your body on that day. There's a natural upsurge of energies. So, when there is such an upsurge of energy, if you keep your body in a horizontal position, then it could impact the body in a negative way. It's important you keep it in a vertical posture because the natural movement of energy is in this direction. If you lie down like this, it won't be good, so you must stay up. How to keep you up? Some people go to the bar. Yeah, I'm telling you. Some people, whole night they're playing cards. Yes, these are all the different things they're doing. Some people go to late shows. That night, the show doesn't yet end with the night show. 3 shows in the night, that till morning, some movie is going on. So usually some devotional movie, something about Shiva. So, this is an opportunity, whichever millennium you were born in. It is an opportunity that the planet is supporting you, the system, the larger system is supporting you to move in an upward direction. Please make use of it. It doesn't matter you belong to 20th century, 21st century or the 2nd or the 3rd millennia. Doesn't matter, because once again you know all this only by memory. Millennium is not an existential reality, it's a social reality, we made it up. Hello? It is very important. One must understand, spiritual process means you are moving from religion to responsibility. I think that's one thing that everybody could do with, particularly the millennials. They could do with some responsibility, for sure. Thank you.
Why is there poverty and suffering in the world? See, one thing is poverty, the way we describe poverty right now, is very, dependent upon certain standards that we have set ourselves. Who is poor, who is rich is decided by certain standards that certain societies have set. 10,000 years ago, living in a cave was a luxury. If you had a good cave for yourself and something to cover yourself, it was a great life. Today, we have created so many things for our well-being, so anybody who cannot afford to have that, we consider that poverty. So what's poverty in one society need not be poverty in another society. So this trying to have a world view of common sense of poverty, saying that if you earn anything less than $10 per hour, you're poor, I think is an improper way of looking at the world. I know in South India, if a man earns $2 per day, not per hour, he can live well, he can live reasonably okay. The kind of prosperity that we are talking about, our standards of prosperity are completely unrealistic and ecologically unsustainable. So this idea of poverty and prosperity needs to go through a lot of change. I come from a culture where people have chosen many times, not now, many times to be consciously poor, by choice. This is a culture where kings have chosen to walk as beggars. So, poverty is not necessarily in terms of whether you have a car to drive or not, whether you have a big house to live or not, that's not so. Definitely the world is poor because in spite of all this wealth, in spite of all this comfort and conveniences that science has heaped upon us, still people are living joyless, still people are living not knowing how to live. We know how to go to the Mars, but we still don't know how to live on this planet. That's definitely poverty.
Why are you trying to label a day as a bad day or a good day? It is only human beings who, in their experience, they do these things to themselves. Why they do these things to themselves is, see, today there was a glorious sunrise. Millions of flowers blossomed across the planet. So many wonderful things are happening, even the stars are twinkling right now, the moon is full today. Everything is fantastic. But One worm of a thought in your head can make a mess out of you, isn't it so? Isn't it so? So why this is so is, somewhere you are giving or ascribing a lot more importance to your psychological process than the existential process. Instead of being alive, you're being a psychological case. Yes. Because your thought process and your emotion has become far more important than the existential process. That is the only problem, isn't it? Or in other words, the creation, Creator's creation has not impacted you enough yet. So you think your petty creation in your head is bigger than that. Or to put it bluntly, you're too full of yourself, that's the only reason why you can have a bad day. Otherwise, why? No, the stock market crashed. So what, the sun rose? So many things happen. Does it mean to say nothing goes wrong in my life? More things go wrong with my life than anybody else's life, probably. Anybody here, I would say. Because I don't hesitate to just put my hand into just about anything. Understand? I do not hesitate to put my hand into anything. When you put your hand into just about anything, lot of things will bite you, right? Naturally it will. I want you to understand this. The whole process of suffering is essentially that you have not opened your eyes, you've not peeled your eyes properly and look at the grandeur of everything that's happening around you. Not yet. You've not paid attention. You looked at the world like this. You must look at the world like this. If you just look at one thing, you can't believe how it is. If you ever look at an ant, just see what kind of technology has gone into it, it can keep you engaged for the rest of your life doing research, yes or no? So the problem is just this, that you are giving too much importance to what's happening in your little head, not paying attention to all the magnificent things that are happening in the existence. I've never seen a bad day in the existence. I've only seen bad days in people's moods and minds, isn't it? These are all small help, little assistance. You don't see a Shiva or a Krishna holding mudra and sitting like this, simply intense. Nor will you ever see me sitting like this. No, you will not see me practicing Shambhavi or this or that. If I just close my eyes for 20 seconds, I'm done. I'm ready for the day. So, this is all good help. But is it the only way to do it? No. You can simply sit. If you learn to simply sit, you will become tremendously intense. Right now, your energy is simply expended by doing unnecessary, endless activity. When you have so much mental diarrhea, how can you have energy? Suppose you have diarrhea, do you see how weak you feel? Yes or no? Right now this mental diarrhea, that's why people have no energy. They want to just eat and sleep all the time, because mental diarrhea, it's very exhausting. If you have physical diarrhea, you know how exhausting it is. Yes? This is also equally exhausting. People are sleeping 8 hours, 10 hours a day, not because they're working so much or their body is in such a bad state, it's just mental diarrhea. If you stop the mental diarrhea, there's enough energy to make this very, very intense. Now, how do I stop mental diarrhea? If you have diarrhea, physical diarrhea, what is the first thing to do? Huh? What?
Yes, run to the toilet, I know that. I'm saying as a corrective measure, what's the first thing you do? No, as a corrective measure, what is the first thing you do? First thing is stop eating, right? Yes or no? But diarrhea means in some way we've eaten something that the body doesn't want. It's trying to throw it out. Yes? You've taken something inside which the body doesn't like. It wants to throw it out. First thing is, stay away from food for some time. You eat bad food and then try to stop diarrhea, it's not going to work. So similarly, bad food for the mind is just this. You have gotten identified with things that you are not. The moment you get identified with things that you are not, mental diarrhea is inevitable. It's bad food for the mind. Now it will run endlessly, do what you want. You do any damn meditation, you say Shiva, Rama, it's not going to stop. It's not stopped, isn't it? Because bad food is being eaten every day, you're getting identified with more and more things and you want to stop your mind, you do whatever kind of circus, it is not going to stop. If you disidentify with everything, if you understand what is you and what is not you, if you keep a little distance from that, mind will become still. If you want, you can use it, otherwise you can keep it. Now my hand is there, if I want I can move it, otherwise I can keep it. This is a useful hand. Suppose it starts jumping like this. You clearly know there is some kind of an ailment, isn't it? Yes or no? So if hand is jumping, you know it's an ailment. If mind is jumping, is it an ailment or no? The ailment has come because continuous wrong diet. You tell your mind that I am this, I am this, I am that, I am that, it's having diarrhea. You stop giving it wrong food. If you clearly see what… even if you do not know what is me, at least you know what is not me, isn't it? This much you do. Tonight before you go to bed, sit on your bed and sit down and discount everything that is not you. This house in which you're living, is this me? No. This loving parent or mother, father, wife or husband or child, they're wonderful, but is this me? No. Now these nice clothes I'm wearing, is this me? No. Now my body, I like it, but is this me? No. Now I'm having so many thoughts, is this me? No. Now I'm having wonderful emotions, is this me? No. Like this, everything that's not you, before you sleep, keep it down and go to bed. Tomorrow morning, you will wake up considerably more intense than today. Every day you do it, in a little while, if you simply sit here, things around you will reverberate. Really. I was a few years ago, couple of years ago, I was in America and this is a very typically American question. This lady comes up to me and she's very angry. I've been doing this yoga for last 35 years, nothing happened. But you went and just sat on a rock and things happened to you. This is not fair. Where is the damn rock? She thinks it's the rock which did it. The only sadhana that I did in my life is, right from my very early age, though I was very actively involved with everybody around me, I never identified myself with my parents or my siblings or my endless number of friends or the society or the religion or the country or anything around me. Never identified. Not that I was not involved, I was very involved, very active. Even today I'm very active and involved, but not identified. If you don't identify with anything, there is enough energy in this to become intense. I want you to understand, your life energy right now in this body, how many things it's doing here as you're sitting here? Hello, do you know the complexity of activity it is doing? Every cell in the body, your liver, your kidney, your damn spleen, and all kinds of stupid things that we cannot even figure even today. Yes? Just see as you sit here, how many things this energy is doing. Obviously, it must be intense to do all this. You are not able to experience it because of diarrhea. When you have diarrhea, that's how you feel, isn't it? Yes or no? So that's how it is. Stop the diarrhea. Stop eating bad food, diarrhea will stop. Once diarrhea stops, there's enough energy in this to sit here and reverberate in a very intense way.
What you just watched wasn't just a video, it was a presence exercise. If you stayed until now, it shows something in you is more awake. Comment on what stayed with you, what message hit you hardest, and share this with someone who also values this kind of conversation. Thanks, a big hug, and see you in the next video.